What's up, Joe?
I don't know, man. Beautiful weather today.
Oh, everybody's in a fucking panic. The feeding frenzy.
What, FTX?
Just in general, yeah. All the repercussions. Like, I'm in the material indicators group, and people are panicked about USDC and Gemini because this Genesis. I haven't even read anything about it. All I know is this lending platform Genesis is shut down withdrawals and they're fucked. And so Gemini was pushing customers to Genesis, had an integration, and USDC was offering yield from Genesis. And so everybody's in a fucking panic over, Genesis. Because they think somehow that means that Gemini and USDC don't have their backing in place. And I'm just like, people.
Isn't that like BlackRock and Blackstone?
Yeah. There's
$17 trillion backing it up, guys.
I'm not a USDC fan, but
yeah,
the backing is fucking there.
Yeah.
I got no, and Gemini, I think
that's the Winklevoss boys, right?
Yeah, the Winklevi boys, I think, are pretty tight too. So, not financial advice, make your own fucking decisions about what you put your money into. But, those are not two I would worry about. So,
yeah, I mean,
personally, I won't worry about.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was kind of thinking a little about that today because, you get this, there's this panic shrill going on Bloomberg for the last couple of days. It's like every world problem is now FTX is caused by FTX. And I'm like, and they get pretty enthusiastic in their reporting, but it's just, you can just tell people don't know what they're talking about still.
Exactly.
And it's just, they have no kind of, they just don't understand. And they're getting more. I mean, 6 months ago, they knew zero. So they are learning more, but I just find it interesting that there's these two arguments. One, you got the TradeFi people saying it's all about decentralization, which I find, hey, mission accomplished at that point.
Exactly.
And then two, it's like, they're all like, then tainting FTX as like it's this Wild West crypto show that was all built to, steal from all the depositors. It was a big, huckster thing, but it wasn't,
Yeah.
And Celsius wasn't that either. This is just casualties of the price of Bitcoin going down over this crypto winter number 3 or whatever we're in, and positions that they were in getting underwater because of that price. That's it.
Yeah.
And, since everybody's younger, they haven't seen these types of big, I guess in crypto you have, of course, but I think if you're doing a fund that's catering to TradeFi people or a platform, you're going to forget about that a little bit.
Yeah.
And then when it happens, all of a sudden, all those investments you gave to everybody, all those donations to nonprofits, all of a sudden you're like, oh, wait, maybe I should have held some of that back for when I hit these liquidity crises. And so it was kind of a, irrational exuberance on their parts to keep going and keep doubling down. But it's not, everything else is not the fault of SBF. I'm sorry, it's just not.
Yeah. Well, look, there is contagion and there is problems, but there are also entities that chose not to do the diligence they should have done.
Right. And I put that right on the venture capital folks and all that. They just went along for the ride, and it's it's whoever led the round. Everybody else was just dying to get in because, I don't know who led them, maybe Sequoia. Or, I don't know if SoftBank leads rounds, but, everybody's just dying to get in. It's like if you're Sequoia, I heard the Singaporeans, like Temasek lost some money. And, but Temasek was like in on Cisco in the seed round. They were like in Intel on the seed round, basically, or some like very, very early stuff. Made $50 billion off of those deals. So if they come in and lose 100 on something like this, I'm honestly saying they don't care.
Yeah.
I heard the Bloomberg person tallying up, and it's like, and that's over, collectively $500 million in losses. And I'm like, who gives it? Just means nothing. It's like these firms are built to go big and win big or lose it all. I mean, the investment, not the whole firm.
Right.
So they don't. This is not a catastrophe. What I feel sorry for is, like you said, the people that are now panicking because they parked some or stake some BTC or something else in these custody platforms like Genesis and what's the other one, Genify or something. Gemini, yeah. And and the Celsius.
No, Gemini is not a problem. I don't think.
Well, there's the two that are kind of related, and I don't think there's a problem there at all, other than them saying, "Wait, let's stop withdrawals for a second and figure out what exactly we have here."
Yeah.
From the stuff we have out. So that's the issue. So they basically, to get that yield, have to go yield farm or invest or do something else to get yield. So those instruments, are those platforms still safe? And I think that's why they're saying, wait, let's halt withdrawals here for a second till we figure out, is this stuff all still good? And if not, let's get it out. Or if it's too late, then shit, we got to go get some more money.
Yeah.
So I don't look at it as that's going to go away. I think it's a prudent move on their part right now.
I agree. I agree. I'm trying to load up some shit because I didn't do my prep work. I've been too busy.
Remember the guys at Secret that we met a year ago at that conference?
Yep.
There was they're up like 50% today, up to 90 cents. And I'm wondering, I saw there was a huge buy of like 30 million about 14 hours ago. And I was wondering if anybody in the audience had any intel on what's going on there.
No.
So because it's in that decentralized realm, and I think it has some anonymous attributes to it too. Like Monero or something like that. I don't know 100%. So I think again, we're kind of seeing that we talked about yesterday. I think that you're going to get this sort of, to steal a word from another geopolitical situation, you're going to get like this deglobalization, let's say, in a way that you're going to have these regulated platforms and you're going to have the fun cutting edge stuff as well. And so I think that companies like this, there's definitely an application to be gateways to the fun stuff. As in, look, if you're coming from TradeFi and you don't want everybody knowing what you're doing. I mean, there's definitely applications to do that kind of stuff, because if everybody's tracking the venture fund's wallet, how do you make moves without everybody knowing what you're doing? Well, you got to spin up some virgin wallets, basically.
Right.
So nobody knows that you made the investment until you disclose it. Because sometimes you got to make slow incremental buys to not drive the price up. So maybe something like that's going on at Secret, that people are realizing that, hey, maybe that is the way. And because I think that they have an ability where you can basically go to a virgin wallet, but still leave an audit trail there through some kind of a key or whatever. So if you ever get in a bind of proving use of fund or source of funds, you can, by regulators, let's say, or compliance people, you can trace it back. But that the average nobody without the key can actually trace it back. So you can disclose it when you need to, but other than that, it's a clean break. So maybe something like that's going on there. I mean, I could see if I was some Wall Street guys and, I was wanting to make moves, but didn't want my friends to make fun of me or didn't want to let everybody know what I was looking at, then, I'd want to be getting into other wallets.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something to think about.
I agree, dude. I agree. I got a bunch of random shit I just loaded up because I didn't do any research before today's show because I've been so fucking busy.
That's all right, man. It's all right. We can wing it.
I got lots of shit here. So,
I mean, look, while you're loading it, everything's off a little bit today.
What are our prices looking like?
ETH is over 1,200, 16.5 for BTC.
Okay.
So, but a little, ETH bounced off of, it looks like 1187, and BTC just a couple hours ago, and BTC bounced off of, looks like 16,378. So, nothing, no big moves. I think the macro side, everybody's looking at the UK right now. And of course, everybody's talking about the missile thing in Poland, which is, of course, nothing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, except for the 2 dead people.
Yeah. But
and their families.
Yeah. So, somebody's going to give you an award or something like that, probably.
Wait, Niblet says Sam Harris's recent podcast is on SBF, but from an effective altruism, not crypto's perspective. Interesting. James, paid promotion included. Congrats, guys. You've made it. What? Is he saying that on YouTube it says our video says paid promotion included? I may have done a default setting on all our videos. I don't know, even though nobody's paying us shit.
Yeah, I'm still wanting to get a hat.
Now a brief word from our sponsor. Chex Mix.
Yeah.
I may have changed. I may have inadvertently changed our default setting on that, or not inadvertently. Maybe I just wanted to cover my ass. Let me see. I'm looking at the live feed.
I don't see anything, buddy.
I don't either.
All
right. Well, no, but James, if you'd like to sponsor us.
Yeah. Hey, James, I was also going to tell you or ask you getting a lot of sleep, buddy?
Me?
No, Scooter.
Oh, yeah. James, I doubt he is.
Hey, but remember this now, 529 or prepaid plans for college.
Oh, yeah. Good shit. Thank
God. This is the way to do it, man, because a lot of benefit programs, you can pull it out pre-tax even and fund into prepaid college plans. I mean, we did 18 years ago, I guess, and, paid out over 3 or 4 years, a couple $100 a month. I think it totaled out about 10 grand, but then you end up with like 100,000 plus worth of tuition and room and board and all of that.
And my mother-in-law paid for my kids, so I'm even.
There you go.
Gold.
Yeah.
She's like, no, I will pay for all the grandchildren's college. I'm like,
thanks, Mom. Thanks, Mom-in-law.
Knock yourself out. I'm happy for you to do that. So, okay, let's get on the shtick. First, back to the one more thing on the SBF shit. Again, I have to qualify this, and I've said similar things all week, last week and this week, but I want to reiterate it. I feel horrible for the people that have lost here, and everywhere I go, there's somebody that's lost significantly. Sean says, your mother-in-law need a date? Nah, you got more money than she does, Sean.
Sean's got a cougar crush. Cougar crush.
And the impact is brutal and horrible. No matter how many times we say don't put everything in one place, it happens. And it's sad. And not your wallet, not your keys, not your crypto, is also a lesson we try to reiterate. But I was having a conversation last night with a group of investors and explaining to them why FTX happened and how it happened. And I got to tell you, everything points to, hold on, let me pull this article up. Everything points to this having an incredibly positive impact on this ecosystem. And I'm sorry that people were harmed, but people are moving off centralized exchanges. They're buying hardware wallets. FTX domino effect begins. Sales of Ledger and Trezor hardware wallets increase. Everywhere I go, people are asking, how do I set up a hardware wallet? How do I do this? Blah, 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 blah. The bottom line is this is going to clean out a lot of shit from the system. It is making people more aware of the importance of decentralization, of the importance of protecting their money, of the importance of being your own bank. All of this shit and the massive, all of the crap that's coming out of this. It's like, when the sink is clogged up and you go in there with the roto-rooter and you the pipe thing and you just clean out all that nasty shit that's clogged up in it. That's what's happening right now. We are draining it out, cleaning it out. and getting rid of the shit. And we're refocusing, the hive mind of crypto and DeFi onto the actual decentralization piece. And to me, that's a really, really good upside. That to me is powerful. And every day I'm seeing more celebrities, more politicians saying things like, this was not decentralization. This was not crypto. This was centralized shit. And the more that message gets out, and I'm going to keep advocating for it every fucking day, the message we need to make, the lobbying we need to make is everything should be on chain. Everything in the financial system should be on chain. We won't get there. I'm not naive, but that advocacy, that point of view with the mess that this is incredibly valuable. So
yeah, look,
I hate that people are being hurt, but the upside of this in a year is fucking tremendous.
but look, we all know, why is FTX reinventing the wheel? Okay, that's what's really going on. I mean, that type of stuff should be at a bank, and all the stuff we talk about, decentralization, should be in your Ledger wallets or your browser wallets or whatever you're using, preferably Ledger, and playing in the full-on decentralized world. I mean, that's where the deglobalization or the break needs to happen.
Yep.
The fact that look, if there was like FTX Blackstone or BlackRock, let's say, and everything was fully insured, that's a good thing for the market, for everybody who doesn't know how to do anything. But for everybody that does, like us, I'm sorry for all the FTX guys. I've been burned 3 or 4 times, obviously not at numbers that I think you guys have been burned, but at numbers where, it just goes away and you learn this lesson and then you remember it. Yeah. And then you're like, I guess I do got to figure out these wallets.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
Yeah.
You got a big passcode or key of a seed phrase that you got to store securely. Don't take a picture of it. Don't put it in like a draft folder for email. Don't create a digital copy of it. You basically store that somewhere where nobody's going to think. I mean, one of my favorite places is behind pictures, on your desk or at your grandma's house or something.
Seriously? Are you going to say that online?
I don't care, man. There's like shitloads of locations and shitloads of pictures everywhere. So, but why would I wouldn't say the one that I use, of course, but there's plenty of places,
a safety deposit box,
safety deposit boxes,
that's probably a good one. That's probably a good one.
Anywhere where, in multiple copies, analog copies in safe locations. That's it. The bank burns down. Well, it's not likely going to happen, but who knows, So, think grandparents' houses, think places like that. But just figure that part out and you will be fine.
In the book I think it was in the book about the Bitcoin book about the Winklevi folks, they had so much Bitcoin that they actually took their private keys, all these different private keys, divided them in half, each of the brothers, and then flew to banks all over the country, putting these seed phrases everywhere. And it's like, it's just nuts. Sean says, bet it's behind the SBF pic Joe has.
What?
Sean's saying that yours is behind the picture of SBF on your desk.
Oh, yes. Yeah, my man crush, baby. Something about that hair just gets me fired up, man.
There you go. So anyway, I'm glad the Ledger guys are having a good week. Hey, I don't remember the thread. I got to go back and find it. But somebody asked me the other day to specifically outline why last week, I think, why I talk about Canto or I shill Canto and not financial advice, etc. I am doing a thread on that. I just haven't had time to go back and finish it, but I have it queued up in Chur and we'll get it done.
Let me give a little tease of your thread. Is that most of the people know what this is if they listen to this show, but the people that are asking you that, it's this fully decentralized public DeFi architecture. I mean, that's what it's all about. Yeah. So, they're trying to be as pure as possible to the crypto ethos. And the people that founded it are people that Brad knows. So they're trustworthy people, as trustworthy as you can get in finance, let's say, but they're not like bad actors. So
well, and the people that aped into it, the
Hmm?
people that are building in it, I trust. The
Yeah.
people that are contributors to the core system, I trust. And look, for me, it's a valid experiment, right?
Right.
This is not something I'm betting big on. It's not something I'm putting a ton of money in, and you should not either,
You're
unless you have a
participating.
ton to waste. But I like the experimentation. I always want to advocate for experimenting in this space. We have to constantly evolve, constantly change, constantly learn from our mistakes. And I think this is a valid experiment. So far, I like what it's doing and how it's going. But the Canto online hackathon is in progress again this month, and I'm excited about some of these projects. Like, I'm really like, this is some cool shit that's getting developed. So LeadSwap, a decentralized exchange and reward protocol built on top of it. This one is so much fun. Oh no, this one isn't it. Ansible Staking is a validator, infrastructure, and service provider committed to developing open source tooling for Canto. This one, Canto Moon, is a marketplace that aims to include LP and NFT staking. So combined liquidity pools and NFT staking in alignment with its unique token incentive program for CMoon, a deflationary ERC20 tax token. This is just a meme project, Happy Rabbit Coin. We're always going to have some of those. But I think there's a game being built around this. And they already have liquidity pools on Forte Swap. Contillionaires is another NFT project. They hope to bring a new kind of art to the Canto ecosystem, drawing from their background as 3D pixel artists and animators. Ecosystem support and tooling splits, a protocol by Wildfan that will enable a simplified and efficient fund splitting on Canto. I'm not quite sure what that means, but maybe I'll take a deeper look. This one is exciting for me just because I think it's a lot of fun. This is a command line interface for interacting with Canto smart contracts. So just like operating in the old DOS terminal, you go in, you connect, you type connect to connect your wallet. It pops up the MetaMask prompt. I would love an entire DeFi interaction capabilities, all command line. I'd be in there all fucking day. So this one's really cool. I think it'll be fun.
And that says something coming from an Apple fanboy.
Dude, I love command line. So this one is building. I didn't quite understand what this thing was. I looked at the website. Hold on, let me pull this website up. So MiniPint, it's a fork of a project called MiniPint. And I guess it's like a knowledge base for yourself. Bookmarks and knowledge and information. Not sure exactly what it is, but look, it's just kind of like these unique projects being built. Canto Tools, an ecosystem directory, so where you can find all the latest apps and projects and things that are upcoming on the protocol. A messenger application, Canto Messenger, aims to be a hub for all things messaging and sending on public. Canto Public. Sadi Nakamoto Carbon is a package manager for EM smart contracts, lets creators configure and deploy smart contracts by combining off-the-shelf modules, much like how one would build a Lego project. A DAO tooling startup to build out DAO discussions and voter sentiment, off-chain governance. In the games category, B-Toad Gaming is working on a casino-fi protocol. So casinos on Canto. And there's more protocols. But, again, it's really interesting to me because the project, I think the total prize is 100 grand worth of Canto, or 100,000 Canto. No, it's 100 grand worth of Canto, but it gets split between multiple projects. So nobody's winning 100 grand by themselves. What's interesting is the quality of kind of the innovation of the projects that are coming on and building in the hackathons, not a lot of money. Right. So, relative to what they would need to build and grow something. So anyway, I'm excited. I like the projects I'm seeing so far. And I think, I think there's some cool potential there. So I'm definitely Sunday is the hackathon judging. So it'll be fun to watch. Okay.
Yeah, no, sorry, I was reading something else. Look, this is an example of what we talk about before too. Is that these are like, Shizzy was in Aptos, I believe. We've talked about Arbitrum. We've talked about ZK Sync. We've talked about Shardium. These are all places where you could go and get involved in communities that have cool things going on.
Yeah.
And then later on, you might get rewarded. So look, all this new stuff, what I like about Canton myself is that you get, there's some uniqueness, some unique differentiators there on my side about really the kind of the public infrastructure piece. Because all the other ones are more, not proprietary is not the right word, but it's not like social infrastructure. And so that's what makes Canto unique to me is they are kind of driving into that ethos of, I think of, the decentralization, the no control. I mean, I see little bits of that in the other ones, but, mess around with all of these, even the other one that Brad brought us. What was that one called? Monad?
Yeah.
We keep talking about Monad and nobody's looked at it. I haven't either. So
I haven't either.
Rock. But that's a Gainsey one, right?
No.
Or am I not supposed to say that?
I actually don't know who's behind it.
Okay. I thought I heard that from someone, but I might be wrong. So again, you got to double check what all of us say. But that's one that could have some attributes. But go into all of these because they're the next wave. Because, when you look at like Stellar, Cardano, Algorand, Tron, all of these, they're kind of like, I don't want to call them dead or zombies or whatever, but it's sort of legacy tech. Yeah. And it's hard to pivot those with those giant communities. So you want to find one like this that's just getting going, that has upside to it and has excitement and can basically be not the first mover or the second mover, but, coming in with all the lessons learned by all the other DeFi messes.
Yep. So
that's what I like these new ones the most for that potentiality.
Yeah, me too. That's definitely a good point. CoinGecko is implementing Nansen and DeFi Llama data for proof of reserves for centralized exchanges. So they've got this up.
That's cool.
Functioning now. This is Binance's showing DeFi Llama showing 65.23 billion in assets. Clean assets minus the BNB is 53.51 billion. They don't have auditor data for them from DeFi Llama. Nansen showing 64.28 billion. But you can click through from there to, so if you're a CoinGecko user, I use DeFi Llama mostly, but if you're a CoinGecko user, you can go in and look at their data. And then this is the link to the Nansen, I believe Binance page, net worth of 62 billion, 64 billion. I guess that's based on current prices. But yeah, this is a pretty comprehensive dashboard by Nansen. So pretty interesting.
Well, look,
pretty
look, if you're embracing the concept of putting stuff or moving stuff onto a centralized exchange to do something with it, you want to see this information.
Yep.
So you know what exchanges you're going to, because if you're ninjaing in and out, you don't want to be ninjaing in right when they're friggin' there's a run on it or something like that, obviously.
Yeah.
You get linked up. You want to make sure that the risk is down. So, whatever one you're looking at, personally, if you're out of the US, Binance is the way to go in my mind. But if you're in the US, there's plenty of exchanges. And don't forget all the DEXs, don't forget, the Uniswaps of the world and groups like that where you can do things too.
True. Dan Finley, one of the co-founders of MetaMask, has launched a project called MobiMask. So they're partnered with MetaMask that proactively protects users from phishing by using a dynamic web of trust for sourcing phishing reporters. So I assume there's some integration that happens within MetaMask that will protect you as you're visiting a website. Oh, this is cool. Oh, no, I see what it is. It's just a way, there's an extension that's coming soon that'll automatically tell you, hey, this one's got a problem. But you can put in Twitter handles to determine if somebody is a phisher. Let's see if I'm a phisher. Suck if it came up I was a phisher, wouldn't it? It's not a registered phisher. I'm not a registered phisher. So. Sorry. No. Anyway, good idea. Once it's integrated as an extension, that'll be really cool because as you're visiting a particular profile or whomever asking you for info, you can check yourself. Llamaland. Oh, this is that DeFi Llama thing for borrowing against your NFTs. We talked about it before, so I'm not going to dive
Well,
into it.
for the two NFTs, and I've been thinking about this a lot, is that, we really should focus more on all these protocols that allow you to yield off NFTs, stake NFTs and capture yield. I know there's some out there. Everybody's been trying to solve this problem forever. But we really should start looking at that, because that's kind of where, when I see, okay, there's resistance now, or there's going to be, from everyone to sort of stake Bitcoin and ETH somewhere. Anybody who's like a newbie,
Right.
It's got burned in FTX or Celsius or something like that. So, to me, I kind of feel like that you want to get into, you want to kind of find the alternatives where you don't have that risk, but you can do stuff in other asset categories, not BTC and ETH. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So as much as I'm annoyed by Andre Cronje, he motherfucker.
Dude, that kind of language is going to keep us off Bloomberg, man. Stop.
So he's still developing on Phantom,
Yeah.
And he's still part of the core team. And he published this really cool concept of Phantom embracing ZK rollups. And the idea that it, when you pull EVM out of the picture, I mean, he talks about the transactions per second, right? So if Phantom's consensus didn't have EVM in it, it could do 28,000 transactions per second. Stress tested.
What's it doing right now?
But with EVM, they cap out at 700 transactions per second, because EVM itself is inherently slow the way it functions, right? And he says that it's the complex storage and computation in a sequential context that causes this. But he goes into, and I'll put this in the show notes, but he goes into how infinite storage and infinite computation, infinite storage is handled by other off-chain mechanisms and other storage mechanisms for blockchains. So there are ways to do that already, including using torrent and other methodologies. But he says infinite computation is more complex, but that's where ZK comes in. Specifically localized within the web app, the mobile app, the PC or console of their version of EVM, which is called FVM. So bottom line is, and this, when I was looking at this, it made me think about the fact that this whole crash that we're experiencing, everything that's happening, and people going to look at decentralization more and everything else, the bleeding that's been happening on Phantom, the kind of reduction in TVL and everything else, this is another one of those resets, right? And it gives everyone a shot at, as things kind of settle down and the bottom starts to come in, it gives everyone a shot to reassess, build, innovate, and grab more customers as the new crops come in or people come back in, right? And so doing something like this that dramatically improves, continuing to build, continuing to improve, those are the ones that don't shut down, the ones that are smart and innovate are going to have a ton of potential. So I found this really interesting. It's obvious Andre is still heavily involved in determining the future of Phantom. From a technical perspective, he's great. He just needs to make clear to everyone that he's not a single point of failure, that there are a lot of talented developers building the system at Phantom. So this is very encouraging to me. And I definitely hope it means further good things for them.
Well, look, this is what we talked about many times in the past, that, if you think of Phantom as sort of a hub chain for, say, DeFi, life sciences, genomics type stuff, and, that concept we talked about with, anchoring wallets, say, on Phantom, and then trading out from there, spoking into other chains, that speed will help a lot to implement both of those, particularly the life sciences side. Now, I'm not the biggest expert on ZK rollups versus optimistic rollups and all of that. I mean, I think the basic, as I understand it, and how that then applies to EVM. But it seems to me that, the optimistic one, I think in those, you're basically assuming the whole batch of transactions is correct. And then downstream, you figure out what wasn't right or whatever, and it gets fixed. And I think with ZK, they're coming up automatically in big batches, and they've already been verified, is my understanding. I'm not the big software developer, so I'm just kind of talking from a high level, and I'd invite others to weigh in on this. So when you take EVM, I just never quite understand how EVM fits into that paradigm. Obviously not as well as I thought, because if it's 700 versus 28,000 per second, it sounds like that ZK rollup concept instead of or on top of EVM is probably a pretty good way to go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, the tech sounds interesting. I don't have enough understanding of it to know whether or not it'll work well or not. But from the perspective of the performance and capabilities and the tech that Phantom's built in the past,
I
have a lot of faith in Andre and the team in doing it. Niblet says, I'm worried that FTM is becoming a Betamax. Look, here's the thing. I don't think they'll ever pull EVM out of it, but having that other layer and compatibility, or FVM, I should say, out of it, but I don't know. He doesn't go into the details here, but I really don't think there's a worry there. They're not going to like kill every project that's on this system and make everyone do, compose.
It can do both, right?
Rollups. Yeah. So I'm assuming that's the plan, but I'm going to look into this further. I'm going to talk to a few people that are tight in the crypto ecosystem. I'll reach out to the Spirit Swap guys too and ask them what they think.
Well, look, if it's Brad, the FVM thing, to attract, I guess, EVM type compatible protocols from other chains makes total sense. But if this also brings in more people through another channel, I mean, it's a sound BD move. That's for darn sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm going to get a better understanding of this because, obviously I'm a bit of a Phantom fan, and have relationships with a lot of projects there. So I'm going to take a deeper look. I'll get some people's feedback. We'll talk about it next week. Oh, no, we won't talk about it next week.
Yeah, we're off.
Reminder to everyone, there will be no show next week. I will be out, and Joe misses me too much to do it without me.
It's no fun, guys. It's no fun without Brad. But just before, I want to just back up 1 second, Brad, on the FTM in Niblet's comment about, Betamax. I look at that too, and then I look at Avalanche, and I look at Solana, and I'm like, just those three alone, Algorand, I even kind of like, I'm getting a little tired of Cosmos at this point. I just see that ETH layer 1 and all the layer 2s on it is a big dominant player. And so then I would look at the rest of it, and I guess all the layer 2s would be like Polygon, Optimism, Metis, Arbitrum, a whole bunch of other ones in there. I look at, so that leaves AVAX, Algo, Atom, Solana, but let's just focus on Solana, AVAX, and FTM. When I look at the market caps of all three of those and what's going on, Solana's still, 8 billion or 10 billion or 6 billion. AVAX is like 4 or 6 billion. Phantom's at 500 million.
Yeah.
So to me, I look at it like, before, that can support, according to, if NEAR is 2.5 billion, then Phantom should be 2.5 billion in my mind. It just should be. It's just nobody sells or trades NEAR. So, to me, I look at it of all of those as maybe the one that has the best risk reward return from its size.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's the one that wins, but I don't see it going anywhere for a while.
Correct.
Stellar, Cardano, Tron, Algorand, all those guys are still there. Why won't FTM still be there? So to me, but I look at it as having the most potential because of things like this, because that is a pretty, I know we kind of go after Cronje a lot for, the cult of personality stuff, but he's obviously smart.
Yeah. No, he's brilliant. He's brilliant. Yeah. It's just, okay, what the hell? This blockchain mixin just passed Solana in TVL. They don't even call themselves a blockchain, peer-to-peer transactional network for digital assets. Launched in 2017 with more than 1 billion total value secured.
What's the
Cryptocurrency
Mixin?
wallet with Signal messaging built in. Wow.
So yeah, so like Signal, as in Signal versus Telegram.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Fast cross-chain smart contract platform built with the Mixin Trusted Group technology to connect all blockchains and decentralized apps. Okay, this one is even more exciting than the Monet one. Fuck.
Oh, what's this throttled identity? This is probably one of those hybrids where you're not KYC'd, but you are in case you do something wrong. Mixin. You know, kind of like
Mixin.1.
I mean, I like the name. I see what they're saying, but you know, it's like there's this, you know, Tumblr and Mixer are two words that tend to get the regulator's attention pretty quick.
Yeah. That's. I don't think it's. Well,
yeah,
maybe it is. I don't know.
I mean, I would be like, maybe pick a different word.
But it's been around for 5 years, and
yeah,
what were the numbers looking like? Yeah, they just passed Solana. TVL is at 340 million. Solana's down to 332 million. 24-hour volume is 1.9 million, and there's nine dApps on the protocol. Pando, BWatch, Exen Pool, Ocean One, Exen Swap, Option Dance, and Hodl Fox. Almost all of it is on this one. Pando, Open Financial Protocols, 86.65 million TVL website. This is interesting. I love the built-in integrated messaging into the wallet. That to me is awesome. Decentralized financial DeFi services built with blockchain-based MTG technology. Fully decentralized liquidity provisioning, decentralized finance, implemented derivatives liquidity protocol, Pando Rings, algorithmic autonomous interest rate protocol, Pando Catkin, free coins and tokens, earning interest by staking your favorite. Pando Wave is staking. This feels like an opportunity.
this is looking like peer-to-peer stuff. I mean, in a million TPS capacity, final confirmation time of under a second, 0 fee transactions, competency in micropayment, everyday payment scenarios, developer friendly, and all these apps are running on the Mixin. Are you looking at the apps in here? I'm sorry, I'm on their website. Dexes. Let's see what they got. Well, these aren't hot, so it might have been.
Niblet says NewsOrs kept using beta because of its superior quality, so it held a niche until digital video. So a good niche, but still a niche. Hey, Justin, no, Sean's on tomorrow. By the way, everybody, that's a reminder. Sean will be on tomorrow to give us a lesson and tell us why SBF, I think he said SBF and Binance are I'm sorry, not SBF. FTX and Binance are the same. Oh, I know what it was. That DeFi, current DeFi is no better than what FTX is. So this should be an interesting conversation. I'll keep Joe from, fighting with Sean too much, but we know everybody likes a good fight. Joe, as the defender of all things decentralized, will be that side of the debate. So looking forward to the fireworks tomorrow. Yeah.
Yep.
What was that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What was that? Counterpoint? Was that the show on that
CNN? Was James Carville and Mary Madeline.
Yeah.
And they were like the married couple, and he was I think she's Republican and he's Democrat. I mean, I don't know if they
she's Republican and he's Democrat. They were both. She was campaign manager for Bush. He was campaign manager for Clinton.
That's right. Yeah.
And they were married. I just saw a little profile of them because he had a new book coming out. And they're both retired now. I would kill for James Carville to come back and run the entire Democratic Party, but because he was a fucking genius.
Yeah, but remember I don't know if how many know this, but there was that group of I want to say like Atwater. There was like Lee Atwater, and his crew in Republican politics back in the day, and you had people in there like who was the guy who was Trump's campaign manager that got busted for all the Russian and Ukrainian stuff?
Yeah. What was his name? I don't know.
He was one of that group. but it was a group of like Southern Republicans that mostly that kind of led this movement, and Carville basically was somehow involved with them a little bit at the beginning, and then took all those tactics to the Clinton campaign. And so, it was the scorched earth stuff. It's like, I think those guys did the one with,
It's
horrible ads.
Stupid.
Yeah, or the Willie Horton ads, in the Dukakis campaign.
George Bush ran the Willie Horton ads against
him. Which was like, one guy who got let out of jail early and then committed a crime like murder or something. And, and of course, do we want to guess what color that person is?
Look, Carville's just a foot on the neck kind of guy, and don't ever fucking let up. And that's
he's playing against those types of adversaries. So you're absolutely right. It's the play.
Yeah. And Democrats are pussies. Shizzy said winter clothes are laying out for tomorrow like it's the first day of school. Sean the Winter Bear tomorrow. That's awesome, Shizzy.
That is good, man. That is good. But I find myself, speaking of that looming discussion, I find myself more in line with Sean's perspective every day. Just because if you take BTC out of the equation and make that
Joe from the conversation.
I'm sorry, you're muting me. Oh,
I'm muting you.
Oh, that when we talk about decentralization, that's the original pure play. Bitcoin. That's the elegant algorithm. Everything else kind of has followed after and has different interpretations. So I think when we look at like the whole security regulatory framework, that whole problem is really just about, crowdfunding and Jobs Act stuff, that people figured out a loophole to raise money from unaccredited investors for their plays. And that's what's tarnished all those 2017, 2018 coins. Was they're not securities, but they raised money like they were. And that's what's always going to tarnish them. But Bitcoin always stayed out there on its own. And so now you see things like, the stuff that we see in the decentralized world. We've talked about the names plenty of times, so I'm not going to pick one, that are kind of trying to get back to what Bitcoin was at the beginning. Still is.
Wait.
The decentralization stuff.
Yeah, Bitcoin was not decentralized at the beginning. So
in the sense of proof of work and all of that, it was the first one out there. Okay. So it eventually got to that level before I think ETH and all the other ones came along. Now, I wasn't around then. I was happily cranking out M&A deals. So I wasn't paying attention. But my point is that those original ethos, I feel like in DeFi, everybody's trying to rediscover that in some way with the speed and ability and TPS.
The whole reason for DeFi is to take the just lay there and do nothing of Bitcoin and turn it into something that does something. But it takes time for decentralization to occur, right? I mean, this is not a flip a switch kind of thing.
No.
And look, I'm looking forward to the discussion with Sean tomorrow. It'll be great. I always learn something from him. Absolutely love chatting with him. And, he and I have, some disagreements, some things we agree on. And me, Joe, I want to see DeFi on Bitcoin done, well. And so I'm a Bitcoin fan, and I think there's a ton of opportunity there. So.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. My whole point is just that all of what everybody talked about at the beginning is all being talked about again today. It seems like it's just different things. Yeah. But we're kind of going back to that. Just this FTX stuff brought it all to the fore again. Decentralization. And I'm not really talking about Bitcoin, DeFi, Brad. I was kind of, just talking about Bitcoin as Bitcoin. DeFi to me is over here where we're playing.
Yeah.
But it seems like the ones that have the best traction, like the Cantos and then even like, I don't know for sure, but when I look at Geist and I read the stuff on CoinGecko, it says there's nobody running that thing, that there's no governance protocol at all. So I'm, look at stuff like that and other things, that's trying to kind of get back to that, like no human, right?
Look what Sean said.
No, I didn't see it, buddy. Sorry.
BTC ended up decentralized because Satoshi died or ended up in prison. Vitalik could take that route.
Yeah, that's an interesting point.
I don't know. Sean, we'll talk about this tomorrow. I'm curious if you were to take CZ and Vitalik, where would you rank them in the value to society level for you? I know it's near the bottom, but you know,
CZ or Vitalik? I'd go Vitalik.
Good news. Yeah. Good news for the Algorand Foundation. I don't know how many years it's taken, but they hired a head of ecosystem growth, which is a biz dev person.
Gary Gensler?
No. Where's the name? Min Wei, formerly head of biz dev partnerships at blockchain.com. You know, that's a really strong move, but you know, again, there are incredible opportunities with the tech and the platform. It is what it is. Niblet says, or John McAfee. Justin Fournier from says, yeah, I ignore Phantom and prefer Hedera. Oh, interesting choice. That's interesting. And Shizzy said, well, Vitalik just unsubscribed. So.
I'm with you, buddy. I take you over CZ.
I'm glad to see that Llama, fucking DeFi Llama, dude. By the way, I reached out to the woman that's heading up their media group, DL News, try to get her on the show to talk about what they're doing, what they're building. Oh, that's what I was going to tell you. The reporter that wrote the article about SBF on the New York Times, David, he and I were messaging yesterday because I was trying to get him on the show to talk about why he wrote the article the way he did and the vantage point and viewpoint and what he had to work with from the interview that he did with SBF. So we had a long chat last night because he called me and he can't come on the show. The editors are nixing him for any appearances because they want it to die down because he is getting serious death threats on Twitter and messages and at the New York Times headquarters for writing an article that they view
about
as
SBF.
a puff piece for SBF. This is how fucking stupid people are in this space. You know, everyone's taking these conspiracy theories to a fucking another level. There's a young tech reporter just getting knowledge in this space who interviewed a guy and wrote a fucking article. Nobody paid him off. Nobody told him to write a puff piece. He wrote the article. It was just what his point of view of writing the article, people. But to the point that somebody like this is getting fucking death threats for writing an article that you don't like the slant of is just fucking incomprehensible to me. Just absolutely astounding that people are this fucking stupid. So anyway, he can't come on the show now. We'll probably talk about it again in a few weeks or a month and see if he's okay to come on then. But the editors don't want him to put himself at any risk and don't want to.
Yeah. Makes total sense, dude.
So,
but look, you know, it's usually those types of people that are slewing out death threats for that stuff. It's usually somebody whose credit card just got dinged at Pornhub or something like that. Or declined.
Exactly.
And then they're pissed off about the election, or their wife called them a fucking loser, and so they turn around and pick on the reporter. You know, it's like it's always this shit flows downhill stuff. I feel sorry for him. I guess he wrote the article at the wrong time.
Yeah,
and he wrote it, you know, from a more of a higher level perspective than a drill down into the bits and pieces, which, you know, nobody could do at that point because nobody saw the bits and pieces. So
look, everyone's frantic.
This guy,
everyone's frantic for fucking Sam to be in jail. Everybody needs to chill the fuck out because Sam's not going to jail in the next week. Now they may try to get him brought back into the U.S. For part of the investigation, whatever. But this is a massive financial fucking mess. I'll be shocked if anybody's arrested for the next month because trying to hire the forensic accountants or bring the team in to manage and figure this out is going to be a mess unless they just like find one thing that they can hold him on, which they may, maybe tomorrow they do, and they arrest him. But this whole idea that everyone can, you know, make accusations and journalists do not accuse people of crimes. He asked Sam what he thought about going to fucking prison. You know, I mean, I don't know how much more you can get clear that, hey man, you're probably committed a crime here. And how do you feel about going to prison?
You know, I don't give legal advice, of course, and I don't give financial advice, but you know, I might want to do that meeting that everybody's talking about SBF, you might want to do that outside of the U.S. That's my recommendation.
Exactly.
And settle. I mean, look, you got the resources to lawyer up big, and I don't want to say control the narrative, but get a
I saw
fair
an article
shake.
yesterday. He's got big time guys.
So you play this game out from a country where, I don't know. I would just think from a person, if I was in that situation, I'd be trying to get, since I did nothing wrong, I'd be trying to get to some place where, I don't have to worry about, local law enforcement coming in and arresting me, and I'd fight it from there and wield all lawyers. And then, when you do have to come in, if you ever do, like I heard there's trying to get him in for some congressional testimony.
No, don't do it. By the way, Euphoric says Algo made an exclusive deal with FIFA. I've seen something about that. That's good. That's a good move. But yeah. Sean says support this report with facts, not threats. I think he's talking about the reporter. I think he's talking about David. Support this report with facts, not threats. I think he's saying, I don't know what you're saying, Sean. Clarify for me. Justin Fournier said, Mr. Wonderful said he would work with the Scam and Sam again. I saw that. I think I have that article loaded up.
Was that the Mooch? Is Mooch?
Yeah, no. Kevin O'Leary said he would back Sam Bankman-Fried again if he had a new venture, which is just a stupid fucking public thing to say, even if you believe it.
Yeah, you're supposed to be smart, dude, and you made every single rookie crypto mistake you could make.
Well, and then he's just like tanking his rep. How many people are going to be like, oh, wait, you're that fucking stupid?
You're pretty good at the plastic widget to fucking hook the garden hose up or something like that, but, not too good at picking crypto investments.
He said you can love him or hate him for what's happened, but he was one of the most brilliant traders in the crypto universe, said O'Leary. Wow, he's still conned. When asked if he would bank Bankman-Fried in a new venture, he said the answer would be yes.
Well, it's pretty easy from what I heard. They were taking token positions and then pumping it and then dumping it. So to me, you're going to be the best trader in the world when you're front running everybody. Yeah. I don't know if that's true or not. I just heard it from like 50 people. So
Sean said, the reporter, yes, I'm dyslexic as fuck. So,
sounds like reverse double psychology, Sean.
O'Leary went on to say that Bankman-Fried would have to suffer the slings and arrows, but that he would still liked the former CEO and felt sorry for him. Dude, sometimes just don't say what you think. What the fuck?
Yeah.
You trying to kill your entire brand?
Makes you look weak.
Fuck. Niblet says, yes, O'Leary is that stupid. He just plays a businessman on TV like that other guy.
Oh, the one who's the big host of it? What's his name?
I don't. Maybe he's talking about Mark Cuban. I don't know.
Oh, I thought he was talking about like Shark Tank. Don't they usually have
Yeah, they have like 5 VCs on it.
There's the lady, I can't remember her name, but there's the main dude who's kind of like the host sort of. And then at the end you'll have like Mr. Wonderful and maybe the Damon.
Yeah.
The African American dude, and then Cuban.
Actually, I listened to his book about how he started his clothing company. That was freaking that was fascinating. And
His the way they did it, or whatever, right? He's
FUBU. Yeah, no, really, really fucking impressive. TFG.
Thank fucking God.
No, I think he's giving us initials of another businessman. But I'm too stupid.
Yeah, no, I haven't watched that show in years.
I used to enjoy it. It's fun.
Well, it's good but you can see what wins. It's not, the 7-year R&D effort with patented technology to develop a diagnostic. It's we're going to melt down crayons and put them in shapes, and then we're going to, give half of it to charity, and here's our gross margin and this and that. Those are the things that win.
He's talking about Trump.
Oh, the former guy. Oh, the Apprentice host. Got it. Yeah, got it.
Yeah, talk about a
that is funny, man. That is funny.
So this is going to put a little damper on the influencer space in crypto. Class action filed against Tom Brady, Larry David, and others who endorsed FTX. Oh, I bet Wonderful O'Leary's in that group.
No, you know who else is in it? Giselle.
Oh, dude, she divorces him, and now she's fucking getting dragged into this.
You know what they're saying? They're saying that because they endorsed it, they lured in the unsuspecting, non-knowing retail investor.
Steph Curry.
Steph Curry too was the other one. Yeah.
That's you've already, and poor Brady. He doesn't have any fucking money to pay out anyway if he settles. He lost it all in FTX.
Yeah, I heard. What
is that actually? Is that a defense? I mean, if you believed it enough that you put
I would say that
own money in it.
Yeah, I think it's a defense. Look, I got hustled too. I lost 650 million.
Exactly. It's
How
like,
much do you guys lose?
I believed what I said, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't.
I was hustled too.
They may say he still has responsibility.
I think it's a nuisance thing.
Of course, the attorneys are going for the offer and sale of unregistered securities in the form of yield-bearing accounts.
Of course. You go for the low-hanging fruit. So now all these guys, now Brady, Curry, to turn around and sue FTX at this point.
Well, they're already suing. This same law firm is also suing Dallas Mavericks and Mark Cuban for promoting Voyager.
Yeah, no, these are nuisance lawsuits.
Did these guys come out of the woodwork and sue all the fucking banks that advertised on TV during the mortgage crisis? I mean, what the fuck, right? I mean,
well, the problem is you will never beat the bank in this type of a nuisance lawsuit, because they'll come in and dig into every aspect of your friggin' life. They will turn over every single thing you've ever done. They will find leverage somewhere.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's pretty easy to put shit on people's computers, right?
Yep. Yep. I'm tapped out, Joe.
Good show, man. Good show. I mean, let me do a quick look. Everything's kind of where it was when we started. Looks like
Sean said, did they sue Bush for Enron? Yeah, exactly.
No, I mean, in the Enron stuff, I saw, speaking of, if you look at some early videos from Enron where they were at the Christmas parties and stuff and touting how great everybody was, in the beginning, then, it goes on and you're not involved anymore, and then shit goes bad. You still get dragged into it.
Yeah. Because,
you validated it. Now, I don't know how that all turned out, because if I remember correctly, after Kenneth Lay was convicted, on the flight home, he had a heart attack and died. So it stayed the conviction, that situation. Even if you've been convicted but not sentenced, it vacates the conviction.
Yeah.
So that, nobody can go after your wife or anybody who's holding all the ill-gotten gains, I guess.
Exactly.
So that kind of stopped that one in its tracks. I think the people that went to jail was the McKinsey guy. Funny how you always see those guys in jail, when they go private. And then the CFO dude, I want to say like Fast Now or something like that, or who was setting up all those JV SPVs in the Caribbean and naming them all these things. And I mean, they were just totally moving stuff around in all kinds of bad ways. But, I think that stopped that kind of investigation. Yeah. And those guys, Fast Now got 10-year sentence. And the McKinsey guy did a few years in jail too. So, at that level, when you're that old and you get something like that, it's almost like the punishment is the getting out of jail part broke.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's the punishment.
Exactly.
So, they're going to dig in on this one and make it the excuse for, I bet everybody's trying to dump bad loans and bad paper into the FTX pot right now, so that basically everything that's bad just gets written off as, that was FTX, not us.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think it's going to sound a lot worse than it really is.
Yep. Thank you, Sean, Niblitz, Euphoric, Justin, Shizzy, James. Thank you all for participating, for joining us here, for giving us your time and your insights and your input. Shizzy said, Saylor called Sam Bankman-Fried the Jordan Belfort of crypto. I thought that comparison was a good one.
Yeah. I mean, pot kettle. But I'm like, yeah, okay. That's right. I mean, you do hear a lot of people talking about Saylor, but I think, Sean, let's also touch on that tomorrow. His debt service stuff on the BTC holdings, because you got some people saying one thing, and I don't think everybody knows about that. So, let's talk about it.
Thank you for listening and watching. We appreciate you. We love you. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please rate, review, subscribe so you get the latest episodes. If you're on YouTube, please click the little bell, subscribe and click the little bell so you get alerted when new episodes come out. And please smash that thumbs up so we get boosted in the algorithm. We appreciate you guys being here. Joe, have a lovely afternoon and evening.
You too, buddy.
You, Justin.
And,
thanks for being here, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks as always to everyone for listening. And just be cautious. Try to remember, TradeFi guys, if it's your first time in, DM me on Twitter, Pathfinder305, and I'll keep you out of the stupid mistakes early, the rookie moves that people are still doing. I thought we were over this.
Shizzy says, great show, guys.
Thanks, buddy. And don't let this kind of stuff beat you down. I mean, Brad and I have been hacked, shut down, whatever. 3 or 4 times on different deals. This happens in crypto. You just don't want it in the big mainstream plays that are catering to normies.
That's right.
And so let's get that part cleaned up. But everything else, full steam ahead.
Later, folks. Have a lovely afternoon. We'll see you tomorrow with Sean the Pub. And look forward to it. Sean, you going to be live from the pub tomorrow or from your desk?
McDade's. From McDade's.
Yeah, man. Let's meet the gang. We want to meet the gang. When you walk in, do they all go, Sean?
Yeah, if you could send us over a couple of Guinness too for the show, I'd appreciate that.
I'm going to load up some cheers clips for tomorrow. All right, everybody, take care. Have a great one.
Ciao, everyone. Bye-bye.